Hello, Internet. Thank you so much for joining me. Now, as you see, I've changed my background, and this is in honour of my guest because I have a fellow book person. That's why I'm so excited to talk to this lovely guest, who is the very beautiful and very wonderful Stacey Marie Keba. So there are various things I want to talk to her about. You will know her from Vertical Dramas, where she's often quite mean. She is not mean in real life, so let's just establish that. But the other thing I really want to talk about is if you follow Stacey on Instagram, you will know that she is now published author related to Vertical. So I really want to dig into that later. So first of all, thank you, Stacey, for being here. Would you be okay to give a little brief introduction of yourself to the internet?
Sure, of course. Hi, everyone. My name is Stacey Marie Keba. I'm an actress and now published author. I work a lot in verticals, but my first project that I always have to give a shout out to was this wonderful film called Mon Heroine. It was a Universal Picture France film, and it's just a very cute coming of age comedy about a Julia Roberts fan and screenwriter. It was very cute. But now I do a lot of verticals, and I am a villain, but I'm not a villain in real life. At least I hope not.
You're not, she's not. It's called acting. That's what we have to remind ourselves. They're very good actors and actresses. That's what it is. So can we go back to your childhood? And we're going to talk books. Do you remember what your favourite books were? What kind of got the love of reading started for you?
Sure. So growing up, I had a learning disability. I couldn't read until like fifth or sixth grade. I was dyslexic, and so I really struggled with that. And I remember in sixth grade, I had to go down to like this special class and read Dr. Seuss books out loud, which was really mortifying to be in sixth grade, even though I love Dr. Seuss. But I really fell in love with the Nancy Drew books. My mom had all of her old copies, which I absolutely loved reading. And then when my teacher was like, okay, you need to switch it up and start reading something else, I fell in love with the Twilight books. It was actually my girlfriends who were all on the softball team with me. I was the worst player, but they were all going to see the first Twilight movie in theaters, and I asked if I could go, and oh, well, maybe they weren't good girlfriends, but they're like, have you read the book? And I was like, what book? And they're like, you can't go. And so I went home crying to my mom. I was like, Mom, you have to take me to the movies. I need to see Twilight. And she's like, only if you read the book. So she got that for me. I was still petrified to read it. But after I saw the movie, I started reading it, and I realized it was all in my head. And then I read the full series and I fell in love, and I wanted to be just like Stephanie Meyer.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. So I'm going to age myself. I was working in bookshops when Twilight came out, and what's really annoying was we had the original copy. We had a few of the hardback of the original one, which I wish I bought because it would have been worth a lot. Because it had a really different cover initially, and then they recovered it and went more to what we know in the UK, those really classic black covers with the kind of the apple and so on. And I remember when I read it, it was just like, it takes time. The conversation is on several pages, and that felt really fresh for a YA novel. Do you remember what it was about them? Like, was it the characters, the setting? Because I feel it's one of those books you just get pulled so into it, you forget the world around you.
Yeah, I think it was all of the above. I mean, having read, or I'm sorry, watched the movie first, I I really fell in love with Kristen Stewart, and being an angsty teenager, I was like, oh, she's really cool. But then
Mm.
being able to Uh, I found it so fascinating that you get to, when you're reading a book, you get to know all the characters' inner monologues and inner thoughts. And the setting of it, it was in Forks, Washington, and it was rainy, and it just, I absolutely, it was, I think just the setting and the 5 and just getting to know everything in her thought, and then it was a romance novel, and I never experienced any of those emotions at that point in my life. And I was just so smitten by it, and the dark mystery of him being a vampire. It just, everything just sort of drew me in.
That's such a good point, actually, because I think a lot of the teen novels that particularly were around then were quite what I would call sort of Saved by the Well, sort of California Dreams thing, in that it was very much sort of beach, road trip, California, sunshine. So you're right, there wasn't anything for anyone who like maybe didn't want that. And I think that's what Twilight brought, that it was this much moodier, sort of more introspective story. And actually that's what a lot of readers are. We like the rain and we want some introspection. I have to ask, are you Team Edward or Team Jacob?
I'm Team Edward. I love Jacob. For a little while, I was Team Jacob. But I think I love vampires more than werewolves, but I did get to play a werewolf, which was very fun. But um yeah, Team Edward.
Okay, that's good. It's a thing that people need to know which team will be
Hmm.
supported. So I have to ask, once you read those, when did sort of writing come in?
Honestly, like right away. Um I I was a loner as a kid. I'm an only child and didn't have many friends, and so I just remember like finding those books as an escape, and then like sitting on the school bus. And it's so funny, you're like, oh, we love the rain, and I'm from the East Coast, and whenever it would rain it would be amazing, and I'd just be on the school bus. It sounds so cliche, with my head against the window, watching the raindrops go down the window and just like daydreaming. And at first, because I really wanted to be like Stephanie Meyer, everything I wrote was vampires. And I think I think that I think the vampire's name was Edmund that I first wrote. I never finished that story, but then I came up with this really great idea for this book that hopefully I will publish at some point soon, about a track star named Sam. Or, well, she's a long distance runner and her friend is a sprinter. But there's really dark family drama and mystery, and her uncle is executed for all of these war crimes and things. And so that's what I started writing in high school. But no one said that I was like allowed to be a writer. They were all very like, oh, you have to go be a teacher or do something. And so I stopped writing for a long time, because I didn't think I could make a career out of it. And what a shame that was, that I took such a break, because I absolutely love it. And this year I got to start writing again, and I'm really happy.
I just want to say, I think the world owes Stephanie Meyer a lot, because I know a lot of writers now, both films, movies, books, they started out writing Twilight fan fiction. And it did. I think you're right. I think you're not alone. So many people were inspired to do that and have just gone on and told stories. So I know, obviously, the literary world can be a bit snobbish about it, but actually, I think we owe Stephanie Meyer a lot for the amount of people she inspired to write. So,
Definitely. Yes. So many people are snobbish about it. And sometimes I'm like, oh, should I say it? Because they're like, ew, Twilight. Ugh. And I'm like, you know what? I really like it. I'm not afraid to say that I do. And it was so vital as a teen to go into this world. And um, so I have a lot of respect for her, and the career that she's built for herself. So.
and I can say from the book selling side, they might all be a bit snobbish, but they quite like those book sales that she got. So
Hmm.
it's like, yeah, so you quite like that. So, okay, so you were enjoying writing, but as you said, yeah, unfortunately, is that thing, isn't it? Of like, it's not a career that's put in front of you, is it? It's like, it's not teacher, lawyer, doctor, whatever. Um, when did the career actress get put in front of you, and kind of where did that interest start?
Of course. Yeah, I'm just queen of choosing all the careers that my family is like, why? Why? Um, so I uh I have ADHD and well, I guess it's never been formally diagnosed, but I've always been very restless and I kind of know the symptoms, but um in high school it was so bad and I was so anxious and that's another reason why I sort of stopped writing and I realized, oh, well, I can still tell stories, but I can get up and move around. And
Makes so much sense. Yeah, that makes so much sense. Yeah.
and it's so funny because I mentioned I'm an only child and I was always sort of like the wallflower who never quite fit in and I
Only child, wallflower. Yeah, I get it,
yeah.
100%.
So I spent so much of my childhood and uh, adolescent years just observing people and watching their behaviors. And I also come from wrong side of the tracks. I grew up in a trailer park, and my mom was very sick, and my dad was always working night shifts. So like, just observing people was something that I found very entertaining and also just trying to understand why they viewed me a certain way from just like I remember being on the school bus and in elementary school and they're like, "Do you have a television? Do you have a refrigerator? Do you have a microwave?" And so I was like it from an early age it just made me think like why do people view people certain ways and so then when I started to like get into acting, I felt very fortunate. I had all those years of introspection and observing. But yeah, I really loved getting to move around, and everyone was so shocked because I was very shy. But I've always in my life, I've I tend to run towards things that scare me, like exposure therapy, and so that was really incredible. I remember I got my first job at a shoe store and I used all of my paychecks. Some of it I spent a lot on shoes, but I signed up for my first acting classes at a local playhouse and that was so amazing. And then when I got into college, I went for English education because they said, you can't be a writer, that's not a job. And all my friends were so excited to student teach. And I love kids. I'm a really proud aunt. I love little kids. I love spending time with them. But I was like, I cannot teach. Like, this is not for me. So then I took a gap year to write. And then I came back and I switched my major to theater. Um, and so I did a little bit of that, but then I'm sorry, this is so long-winded, but
No,
then
it's not. It's perfect. It's perfect. Don't apologise.
okay.
Never apologise.
I know that's a thing that I'm always still trying to learn of don't apologize. But so I came back to college and I was a theater major. But you don't at the college I was at, you don't get a lot of acting classes or anything. It's all the gen eds and other things.
Mm.
So and then sorry, this is gonna get so dark, but like I was sexually assaulted and I left college and then I tried to come back and it just didn't work and I was had all that sort of darkness in me.
And yeah, college was not safe then for you. So yeah,
No.
no.
And I was yeah, so but also I some in my brain I associated that with acting and being a theater major because it
That makes
wasn't
sense.
related. It wasn't related at all, but it happened at the same time.
That
And
makes sense
so
that your brain, yeah, your brain makes that link and that emotion and that ordeal gets linked to it 100%. Yeah.
yeah, so
Yeah.
I left and I sort of rebuilt my life, and I got into real estate, and I just, for I think like 3 or 4 years, I tried very hard not to act.
Mm.
But the calling was always there inside of me. And at some point in 2019, I just couldn't not, I couldn't ignore it anymore.
Mm. Yeah.
And so then I was also I became even more introverted again, like I regressed. So then I jumped back into an acting class, which was terrifying. I would like sweat so much during class, and like I stopped drinking at the time, and I would go into the bathroom after class, and like I would just shove a bunch of sour candy into my mouth because I was so afraid of being around people, and like the pain of my tongue like burning off from sour candy, like it got my whatever feelings I had out. It was so silly, but so yeah, in 2019 I started acting, and then the pandemic, and but that got me to where I am now.
That's amazing. And you do know that the ADHD is actually that superpower that allows you to run to stuff, you know, as you said, just, take those risks and make those leaps and like, yeah, I'm going to go. But yeah, I always think ADHD is a superpower. So just like be really proud that you've got that because I
Thank
wouldn't
you.
have done, the awards that I did. Thank goodness I have ADHD. If I thought that through on any level, I wouldn't have done it. But I was like, yeah, I'll
It's
do that. And then you have to make it
it
happen.
it's incredible what you did with that. I mean, just your passion. I'm like, I I love it. It makes me so happy, and I'm so glad you do everything that you do.
Oh yeah, but yeah, it's our superpower, so we
It
have to
is.
celebrate our ADHD. It's brilliant.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
And yeah, and it is also as well. Schools aren't built for that. They're still not built now. It's not a learning environment's conducive to that. So I love that actually you found that the way you could tell stories was through the acting. So right, I think you're phenomenal. Hope you know that. So now we're going
Thank
to
you.
talk about movies. So what was your first paid acting role then?
Yeah. So my first paid acting role was the Universal film that I mentioned. Um, It was so funny because I was living with my dad at the time on the East Coast, and um, I got this audition through my first manager, and but I guess I could have gotten it. It was on the public acting breakdown, so I guess I could have gotten it without her. But it was so cool because um, I played a really bitchy, stereotypical, like American girl receptionist, and the director and casting director loved my headshot, and they were like, oh yeah, she has the look. So they called me in for a Zoom callback, which was on Halloween at like midnight because they were in France. And I got off that call, and I just like knew that I booked it. And it was so incredible. I drove up to New York City to film. We filmed for 3 days. And then a year later, it came out, and I had just moved to Los Angeles. And like, I destroyed my credit, like, used up all my savings. Like, I got myself out here. But I was like, how am I going to go to Paris for this premiere? And I figured it out. I like financed my trip, and I got to go for a full week and support it and see myself and everyone up on the big screen, and it was just so magical. And I absolutely love Noemi. She's the writer director, and it was based on her story of when she was a young screenwriter going to New York City to try to get her script in front of Julia Roberts, and all the misadventures along the way. And it was just absolutely phenomenal. And then I landed back in the US with 53 cents in my bank account.
Whoa.
I was,
But presumably, I'm sure as a book person, you adored Paris.
I did. I was I spent so much of my time just like walking around. I didn't like do everyone's like, "Oh, did you do this? Did you do this? Did you do this?" And I was just like, I just walked the streets and like took it in and like just it was so beautiful and I was like, this is a story of me getting myself here and just seeing all of this and I want to go back so bad. It's so magical and
Yeah. And I imagine it just feeds your soul, particularly if you like enjoy people watching and that sort of thing. The French are very good to people watch. So yeah.
yeah, it fed my soul. It's still feeding my soul to this day. And this is like what, like 2.5 years later. I don't even know at this point, but it's amazing.
And I have to ask, because obviously what the film's about, do you have a favourite Julia Roberts movie?
Notting Hill.
Yay! Good choice. I finally went to Notting Hill with my big teenager the other week because she was determined to drag me around and see if we could find Hugh Grant and take the photo of the bookshop and the houses. So yeah,
Oh,
she was really annoyed because the bookshop that's in the movie, it's on Portobello Road where they do a market. And so they had all the stalls set up, so she couldn't get a good photo. She's like, "Where's the market there?" It's like, "Well, darling, they have the market every day, but I can't get a good photo." So, yeah.
how have you ever been to Paris? Because I know that London they have the like
Yes,
it's
yes,
not too
been a few times, and yes, I just want you just want to live there, really, don't you? It's just
yeah.
magical. Very good for bookshops, very good for coffee, very good for hot chocolate. Yeah, so I need to go
I'm
back
gonna have
on the list.
I'm gonna have to come. I haven't been to London or anywhere in the UK yet. I mean, Paris was the first place I've been abroad, and it would be so nice. I would love to meet you in person. That would be so cool.
This is my
And
plan because I have vague issues because of how the bookshop career ended. That I have a bit of a head injury, so I can't do really long flights. Well,
oh,
I
I'm
think I
sorry.
can, but I would then need to sleep for a week afterwards. So my goal is you all need to come here because I'm not going to get to LA. So you all need to
I
en
will
masse
come to you.
come here, and then I'll take you all out to London. I'll take you to all the good bookshops, and we can have afternoon tea, and it'll be wonderful. So that's the plan.
I would love that. And how old's your daughter?
So I've got a 15-year-old and a 13-year-old. And yes, thankfully, both big readers. They kind of had to be in this house because I'm a reader. And then also, a lot of this is my husband. So we met in a bookshop. That's how we met and fell in love. So
Oh my gosh, you need to write a rom-com or some sort of romance. Like that's so sweet. So, wait, did he do like a book signing or like how did you
he's
meet? I need to know.
it's all about he was a manager. I was a junior bookseller. I know. And it was yes. So yes, it was a proper work romance. But I think that was the thing. I was always like, I have to get together with someone who understands the importance of books. So obviously, if you're in a bookshop, it's a good. There's a lot of relationships and marriages that come working in bookshops because you find someone else who won't judge you for how much you spend on books, which is what's really vital. So yeah, that's why our children exist thanks to a bookshop.
Aw,
So yeah.
I'm so glad.
So, you obviously did this amazing first movie. When then did, because you were in a really early vertical, which was, I think, someone won the money ball, and I can't remember the whole title.
Yeah, my husband killed me and then I won the Mega Ball.
Yeah. Um, what was the kind of, had you, I mean, that was really early on, so presumably verticals weren't particularly known as a thing. Kind of, what was your experience of just getting on that set and seeing the cameras turned a different way and the speed at which it worked?
Uh, I mean, it was mind-boggling. So this was the second paid project I had, and it was like a 2 or 3 months after I got back from the Paris premiere, and um, I thought that the Universal project that I filmed was intimidating, but this was like intimidating on a different level because I didn't understand what verticals were. I thought like, oh, maybe someone's like I didn't know the production budget or value that was kind of going into it. I thought, oh, are they just gonna film it on their phone? Like how? like, how does this work? And it was so fast paced, and uh, it just like over the top acting, soap opera acting, which I've always like wanted to be on a soap opera. And so then I was like, oh wait, like I can do these verticals, and that's like what that is, and it was really neat. But then I didn't fully understand, and if I if I understood it maybe more when I started, I would have been in a lot more earlier ones. But then the next vertical that I had done was like a year later. It was last March, where I was in a Fated to the Alpha, which was very fun. But I was like, dang, I could have been doing verticals for a full year, as opposed. But it was just it was really neat, and now I love it, and I assume everyone now knows what verticals are. I
Yeah.
was having a conversation with my girlfriend the other night, and we were talking, and I was like, oh yeah, like I'm doing all these verticals, and she's like, what is a vertical? And I was like, you don't know? It's like all they're casting right now. And I've actually gotten to a point where I've started telling my aunt and uncle, because I live with them, I'm like, oh, I just got a horizontal audition. And they're like, "Mhm. What is that?" And I was like, oh, I don't know, just like something that's not vertical, like a normal audition, because verticals have become so normal for me.
That's so interesting. So it's actually flipped for you that that's the anomaly when a horizontal audition comes up. Wow. Um, Now this is where we have to discuss. Stacey Marie, you do a very good villain. Now, obviously, you're utterly adorable and wonderful. But what happens when they put you on screen? Because something gets unleashed within you. And I mean, it is phenomenal. I would say, I think one of the things you bring is like a real physicality to the role. Just, yeah, where does, I mean, you're allowed to say I'm a very good actress, but where does that come from? And of the various villainesses you've played, kind of, do you have a favourite project? Is there one that you're like, she was the best, she was so unhinged? Kind of, how do you view them?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, so the whole villain thing came about, it was for the second vertical I had done, which was Fated to the Alpha, and I went in to audition for the supportive best friend role. And the casting director, he just looked at me and he was like, I don't know, I see something in you. Like, would you mind reading for Tabitha? She's a villain, she's a mean girl, a bully. And I was like, sure. And I booked it. And I think being on set, since I'm not a villain in real life, I think people really love working with me. At least that's the hope, that's the goal. And so I think I keep being invited back, and um, uh, I I got to actually audition for. So I played Coco Jones in Uncle William, Please Say I Do, and I had auditioned for that role and the role of another werewolf villain in another one, and I booked both. But they were doing competing dates, and when I read the one for Coco, I was just so excited because I got to push a girl into a pool, and I thought, like, how fun would that be to do that stunt?
Yeah,
Um, and I grew up like playing outside, and even though I wasn't good at softball, like I will throw myself into anything. So like if I have to like, slide into a base or something, like I'm pretty fearless in that. Like I don't mind
yeah.
getting hurt, even though on production you don't want to get hurt because that would be really bad. But I would say this past year I went through a really bad breakup, and it was I was engaged, and it just ended very poorly, and I think I have been carrying a lot of pain inside of me. And I think that really, two things. One, I drew a lot of inspiration from um, personal experiences in the past year that I was able to put into Coco, and then Christina. Um, and then also, I think because I was carrying that energy with me, even though I am very sweet, like I do think there is something energetically where it's like um it's easier for people to see me as a villain because I've always carried my heart on my sleeve. And I just think like I kind of ended up embracing it at some point, because I know it's not me, and everything on social media is sort of, it's authentic, but it's also not the full version of me. And I'm very protective of who gets to see the softer sides. But I was in so much pain. And I could really sympathize with Coco, but I could also really hate Coco um because of what I went through, and it felt almost cathartic to kind of get it all out. And every time that I had to make a really horrible villain choice, and just be so unhinged, it was just so much pain cracking open inside of me, and like very visceral memories of everything. And I know not that might not be the healthiest way to sometimes act, but I mean, I had it in me, so I was figured, draw on those experiences and use them. And I would say I loved playing Christina Fox, from How to Tame a Silver Fox. Uh, I was actually, so there's a scene where I'm reading a diary up on a table, and I was so camera shy at that point, like because there were all these extras, and just like it was the first time in a while that I felt like stage fright, but I powered through, and it was an overnight shoot, and so I was really proud of myself for that moment, because I was in front of so many people. So I think that was such a highlight. Um, and then yeah, I think getting to push Hannah into the pool in Uncle William, that was just, I had such a blast. And they had a stunt double for Hannah, and they didn't have one for me, and I was like, thank goodness, because I want to do this. I want to go in the
This is why I
pool.
chose this project. I want to be in that
Exactly.
pool. So, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the original swimming pool ones. I think
I
because that did so well, then everyone else was like, "Oh, we need swimming pool stunts. If Stacey can do it, we need to add it to our movie as well."
I
So
mean, I
yeah,
just did
if
it
you
so
delivered,
well.
and that's a really nice pool, that one, because it's quite fun because you start recognizing the pools. I think that's the one with kind of like, it looks like it's all sort of made out of stone. It's really beautiful
Yeah.
pool.
I don't know if you know Suki Waterhouse. She's
I do know. So
married to Rob
Robert
Patterson. I don't know if
Pattinson,
they're married. I don't know if they're married
they
yet,
have a
but
child. They're as good as married.
yes. She actually just released a music video that she filmed in that pool.
You've
I
been in the
know.
swimming pool at Suki Waterhouse, which basically means you are now married to Robert Pattinson. So there we go.
Exactly. It's just full circle
It's so perfect.
with the Twilight Team Edward.
Oh wow, that's amazing. And yeah, so I just want to talk about Silver Fox because obviously the numbers that does, like it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and I think it's overtaken Breaking the Ice now. It's like had more views than that, and obviously I know a lot of it's viral on TikTok. Have you got recognised? Is it that stage now where you get recognised?
I actually do, which is so weird. I mean, like obviously since like I'm not nearly as big as some of these amazing vertical actors and stars. So when I do get recognized, it's really interesting. I actually had, and one of the main reasons I get recognized is Reelshort was using my clip in one of their ads. And so I had like mutual friends, like somehow far down the line that like I hadn't met, that was just like, oh, that's Stacey. And then they would like text like my best friend, and they're like, here's a screenshot of her in this ad, like look. And it's just so funny. I don't know if it's like somehow like I don't know what algorithms
Yeah.
do or how that happens, but it is like I've had a couple of like just when I mentioned to people that I've been in verticals, they're like, "Oh my God, have you seen How to Tame a Silver Fox or Faded to the Alpha?" And I'm like, and then they're like, and I'm just like, that's so funny to me. It's so funny. And then I actually have like some really sweet fans on Instagram, which is brand new. I have like a handful. I have like 5. But like they're always just like so supportive and so sweet. And I'm like, "Oh my God, like I love this. Thank you for loving me even though I play such a mean girl in all of these."
Oh, but that's because we can see how wonderful you are. So that's awesome. So, okay, so the acting's really working.
Mm-hmm.
Now we need to talk writing.
Yes.
And how did it come about that you are now a published author?
Of course. It's so exciting. Like I don't think it's fully hit yet. um, so the opportunity presented itself in January when all of the wildfires here in California were happening. I had heard about this opportunity to uh write for Reelshort and to adapt their scripts into books, which I thought was so fascinating because you always hear of it the opposite way.
Hmm.
Someone's published a book and now they're making a movie. Not, oh, they made a movie or a vertical and now it's going into a book. And I had actually been reading a lot of those stories on different apps through different companies. This past year and like loved reading them because they're so easy to read. And so I heard of this opportunity. So I spent about a week just trying to like block out all the fires in my brain, just in my little hermit hole writing. And as I mentioned earlier, I I wrote a writing sample for them that they requested. They gave me, like a prompt basically.
Hmm.
And I mentioned I hadn't written in years because um, I didn't think I could do it as a career. And also, um, I was consistently told like I wasn't a good enough writer. And just all these things in my head. So it kind of came back like riding a bicycle. And I was so excited and I sent off basically my application, and they're like, "Oh my God, we're sending this over to our editorial team to read, and oh my gosh, we want to collaborate with you, and we would love for you to write this story." So I went back to Pennsylvania to visit my dad in March, and I started writing this book, and I had so much fun. And then it was such a nice surprise on, what was it, Tuesday, that it came out, because I knew it would come out at some point, and I saw that the vertical was released, which I was so excited about. I was like, oh, maybe my book will be out soon. And then my editor emailed me on Tuesday morning and she's like, it's out. So
So,
um,
what's the process? So, presumably, you're given the script. Are you told anything about who's been cast in the vertical, or is it just this is the script?
just this is the script, and
Mm.
I get to flesh it out and make sense of everything, and kind of create these characters in my head. So it's kind of funny how people always say like, "Oh, I didn't like who they cast in the movie version and stuff, and
Mm,
or I did like who they cast, and I'm just writing this thing, and I'm like, I don't know. It could like physical descriptions could be totally different,
mm,
and the tones of the scenes could maybe be different.
mm,
But it was so cool, and it was the first time that I've ever written on like a deadline.
mm,
And I had so much fun, and it was such a new challenge, and but it felt so great because I knew at the end of the day that wonderful people would be able to read this book, and that I had a team behind me, and
mm,
it wouldn't just be something that I kept writing and writing and writing for years and
mm.
years, and like no one might see it. So it was very exciting to know that everyone who loves verticals can go watch it, or I'm sorry, read it.
That's such a good point. That's such a positive way to start your writing career because often you're writing on your own. And then when you finish, you've got the whole, oh, now I've got to find an editor and agent. And as you said, there's no deadline necessarily to finishing it. And then, yeah, and then you've got to get the deal. And I love the way that it kind of worked in reverse and that you get the deal, you get the deadline, you get right, we're going to narrow it down for you. This is what you're working with, but then you go for it. You're not, haven't got the cast, so you can kind of make it whatever's in your head. I love that. I just think that's
Yeah.
actually such a positive way to start
it-
writing. And like, how fast is that? Like January, you were only just applying, and like, what? It's not even June, and you've got a published book. I mean, that's phenomenal.
Thank you. Yeah, it's so incredible to me, and it's I mean, writing a book like wasn't on my bingo card for this year. I didn't think it was going to happen, but
Yeah,
it just reignited such a fire inside me. It was like this whole other piece of the puzzle that I had just like basically put in the shadows of like self-doubt.
yeah.
Can't touch it. And now that I have this wonderful book out, it's just given me so much confidence, and I'm so excited to like start building up my audience, and so then when I do have I just uh really started like looking at that book that I started writing in high school, and I have all these years of experience now that I get to put into it, and I'm like, oh man, how amazing will it be when I'm ready to take the next steps of finding an editor and a publisher for that book, because I already have these amazing books. Hopefully, they'll give me more opportunities to write for them, because I had so much fun with this one, but it's just so much confidence, and it's like, oh yeah, I can do this. This was actually the first part of me, not just the acting part. This was like the root of everything. And so it feels so great.
Oh, and I have to ask, like, when you've done that and like taken so much ownership of that story, and then the vertical comes out, do you watch it, or is it a bit like I need to keep that separate? I need to keep what's in my head for me.
Actually, that's my plan for this weekend, is to watch it. I'm just so excited to see sort of like how it all came together. And
Yeah.
the interesting thing with the book is I was allowed to write additional scenes that aren't in the vertical. And so that was really fun for me. And because verticals can be so fast paced in terms of um, just like everything that's happening, because they have such a limited time to tell a story. So
Mm.
to be able to let it breathe a little bit and to have more private moments and just yeah, some fun additional scenes. I think that was so much fun, but I'm so excited to see what they've done with the vertical. I'm gonna make some popcorn, and it's gonna be fun.
You've got to make it an event. I think that's it. It can't just be
Yeah,
like, I'm on my sofa with my phone. It's got to, candles,
yeah,
lights, a moment.
yeah. Comfy PJs and
And
my cat.
it's such good. So I'm basically, when I finish this, I'm going to go and by your book,
Thank you.
because it is such a good script, because it's such a beautiful love story. I mean, I've seen the vertical of just two people who are quite damaged and are trying to help and support each other. And I think that's what I really enjoyed it as a vertical. It is kind of quite different in that actually almost the biggest challenge is them sort of feeling that they can let the other one in again. It's such a beautiful story.
It really, really is. There were some just really touching moments writing it and uh, trying to put myself in their shoes and really think about what they might be going through. And I think that also helps. I mean, writing helps acting, and acting helps writing, of just really being in tune with all the thoughts in my head. And so hopefully I did it justice, and I created some beautiful characters that readers can really enjoy.
You will have, I promise you, you will have. I just know you have. I just want to say huge, huge congratulations, because it is amazing what you've achieved, and I just hope you can really be so proud of it, because it's awesome.
Thank
Because
you.
you're a published author. You're a published author. Stacey Marie Keba is a published author. Okay, everyone. And yes, please, please do revisit your other your high school manuscript, because yeah, there's something there. I mean, you've just like the hook, like it's a sprinter and a long distance runner. I'm already like sold. So just you need to make that happen.
Thank
Um,
you.
so I have to ask, what's next then? Kind of what projects and different things have you got coming up that you're looking forward to?
Of course. It's so exciting. So, I've just like in terms of my life, like I'm moving out of my aunt and uncle's house in July, which is super fun. I'm moving in with one of my girlfriends. And I think that's done so much for my spirit. And like I'm just sort of enjoying my life at this point. I feel like I'm a completely different person from who I was a year ago. And so I'm just enjoying my life. And with that said, sort of the energy that I have right now, I've been able to start auditioning for a lot more leading roles as the nice girl. And I think that comes down to the energy that I have and that I'm willing to share with the world. So I'm really, really excited for that. And yeah, I guess unrelated, but just about life. Like, I was telling you about the story that I'm writing, and I've actually just gotten into long distance running this past year. So I'm trying to run a marathon by the end of this year. So yeah.
That's
So
amazing.
not really too much career related. I mean, auditions are always up in the air. Hopefully I'll book something soon. I would love that. But just I'm enjoying my life right now, and I'm just so happy, and I'm just trying to bask in the moment.
I have to ask, do we have a running app? Have you got an app?
I
What's the app you're using? We need to get you. Let's get Stacey some sponsorship. What's the app that you use?
um I use this really cool app called Runna, Runna, and it's a really great training app for different lengths of long distance runs and how to get faster and all this stuff. And it's just helped me so much. So I love that app.
Oh, and have you got good trainers or, well, proper running shoes? Because I know that's the other very
Yes,
important thing with running. You
yes,
have
I
to
do.
really look into that.
I have to go back to the running store and get some new ones because I've already worn down my old ones that I got in at the end of January. But it's so cool because they have this thing. It's like kind of like a digital scale you step on, but it just like somehow analyzes your foot and it shows
Mm.
you like um where all of your pain points are and like any inflammation or anything where you need extra support. And I was like, this is so fancy. I also found out it apparently it's very normal, but I have two different sized feet.
Oh, wow.
So um
Yeah.
my one foot is a size 6 and the other is like 6.75.
Yeah.
So they're sticking me in size 7 running shoes, which I was like, oh wow, my toes are less compressed in these ones. So I don't know. But I'm slowly accumulating all of the gear and the proper headphones. They're apparently very hard to find because I can't just use AirPods, they'll just fall out. um, but I'm having fun. It's a really fun hobby and so great for clearing my head and getting out in nature and challenging myself. And I heard a quote, or well, I'm not going to quote this properly at all, but I heard this like just beautiful thing about how long distance runners, you usually get into it because you've been through a lot of stuff in your life, and you've really like your life has trained you how to endure, and so that's why you get into endurance running. And I thought that was so interesting.
That's really interesting. Yeah. I can see it's kind of probably part of the catharsis for you as well. Just getting out there and doing it. Oh,
It's great, and then I can brainstorm for my book while I'm doing it because she's a runner. So
perfect. I have to end because I don't want to
yeah,
end.
of
It's lovely
course.
talking to you, but I just want to ask you some quick questions just at the end.
Yeah, of course.
So, who are your favourite actors and actresses? Who are the ones that you're like, I want to watch whatever they're in?
Vertical or non-vertical?
You can say both. Just
Okay.
whoever inspires you or you love working with, or just, yeah.
Um, okay. Well, I love Angelina Jolie. She's so strong and badass, and I want to be like her when I grow up. Um, I love um I love working with uh JJ Michaels.
Mm,
Um, that would be horrible if right now I said like the wrong name. But no, he was in Uncle William.
mm.
Please say I do. He's so sweet, so sweet. I love working with Hannah Lowry. She's a good friend at this point. I'm excited to work with more people, but I love watching all of Hannah's stuff because she's just like really sweet and innocent and so cute and like the perfect little ingenue. She's really sweet and fun to
Yeah.
watch. And yeah, yeah. Demi Moore, I love her, and
Mm.
I'll watch Seinfeld whenever. That's just something I always watch. But those are some people that I've loved watching.
I love those. And obviously, we have to talk books. So, do you have any? What are your favourites now? Kind of what would you, if people ask you for a recommendation? Obviously, the first thing we will recommend is go and read Stacey's book. But when they've
Of
read that,
course,
this is what we have to remember. We are always promoting the book now. You see, I will help you with
of
this. We never
course.
stop promoting the book. But once they've done that, what would you then recommend that they read?
Um, I love the book A Tribute by Nora Roberts. Uh,
Oh, I love Nora Roberts. I've watched all the Nora Roberts movies and read a lot of Nora Roberts in my time.
okay, I need to order they made a movie with for tribute, but it's only available on DVD, and so I need to order it off of Amazon. It has Brittany Murphy in it.
So good.
Uh,
Have
I
you
love
seen
that
it?
book.
You haven't seen.
Mm-mm.
It's so good. She's amazing. I was obsessed with Brittany Murphy. Yeah, she's was an amazing actress, and I can't remember the name, but the guy is everything you need the guy to be, of ridiculously attractive and ridiculously lovely. So, right, you need to order that. That needs to be your treat for the fact that you've become a published author this week. And yeah, oh,
Yes.
yeah, I'm so excited that
Yeah.
you get to watch it for the first time because that is, I think that one's one of my favourite of all the movie adaptations of her stuff. That and the
Oh,
one
I'm so
with
excited.
Claire Filani, and I can't remember what that one's called, but that's the other really good one. So.
Ooh. Well, I'm so excited. I mean, that book was just so beautifully written, and it was everything I needed. I don't know when, I think I was sort of reading it around the same time that I was writing Breakup Bet.
Yeah.
Just when I needed a break, and her imagery is just so beautiful, and the way that she weaves all these storylines together, it just made me feel so good. And then it also had like suspense and mystery and all the things, and I loved it. So
Oh, that's such a good one. I can't thank you enough because I just think you're amazing, and I feel like really privileged that I've just got to like talk to you for an hour. So just I
thank
want to
you.
say thank you, thank you, thank you for just your time and sharing everything with us. And yeah, I think this is going to be one of the ones where we'll look back and it will be like maybe we like reconvene in a year, or when you come to London, it will be like this is just the beginning of your writing journey. I think I just think there's going to be so much more for you to come.
Thank you so much. I had so much fun chatting with you this past hour. It was such a highlight of honestly this year. You're so genuine and so sweet, and I love your enthusiasm for all the verticals, and that really is our ADHD is our superpower. I love this. It was so fun.